At a Texas bar, there's a 38-year-old man that's in there trying to convince his father-in-law to sign the divorce papers on behalf of his daughter. So it's like, you know, like you're trying to divorce your wife, she won't sign it. So you go to her dad, and you're like, "Hey, sign this shit."
Why would he sign it?
Because that's property.
How does that work? Do you need the father of the spouse or something?
I don't think that's how that works, unless she has like.
Was he trying to convince his father to convince his daughter?
That makes
sense.
Been.
Yeah, it might have been that.
Or was it like you walked her down the aisle and gave it to me? I want it back. This is the receipt. Take it back.
It might have been that. It said he was trying to get him to sign something, so I don't know. So he's in there trying to argue with this guy. That father-in-law is refusing to do it. So the guy headbutts him to death.
Oh my god.
Oh god. That's
headbutts his father-in-law to death like in the bar.
Oh my god.
I think a total of 3 headbutts.
Whoa, that's a lot of headbutts.
3?
Took 3.
How old was the father-in-law again?
70 something.
Oh, that'll do it.
What if he was just like, he heard his favorite song and he was just headbanging? And he was doing one of these, you know, this fucking shit.
A little jam.
And then it was like, ow, ow, ow! And then he died.
It's probably Come On Eileen if it's
Come On Eileen is the banger that killed him.
Damn.
Pretty rough, huh?
Jesus. Into pieces.
That's really fucked up.
Headbutts. You guys ever been headbutted?
No.
I have.
I heard it's really bad. Really?
I have.
How did the fuck did that happen?
Who headbutted you, Anthony?
In the middle of choreography?
No, this is such a. There's no moral to this. There's no random.
There's no moral to this.
I was I had a roommate in college. My freshman year, we were in the dormitories, right? And then we were friends, and then one thing leads to another, and then we're like kind of wrestling in the dorms. You know what I mean? Just play wrestling.
Yeah.
And then one thing leads to another again, and like it's like the vibe changed. You know,
Pretend
when, like,
Power Rangers turned into real fight.
Because you were beating him up and he got mad, probably.
maybe. And then like when like the vibe, and I think my cousin was there to witness it too or something like that. The vibe changes. I think it's done. And there's this awkward moment of pause where nothing happens, and then he fully headbutts me in like the chest.
Oh, then he hit me in the head.
No, not
That's
in
a
the
weird
head.
place to headbutt.
Did like a ram move.
Yeah,
he just ran into you.
Like Zidane the shit out of me. You know what I mean? But it's like a head is a very
That's hard, bro.
Yeah.
and maybe also like it was like a shocking experience because like when you know you don't really see that part of the body coming at you when you're like play wrestling and stuff like that, and fucking hit me and hella hurt too.
Did it knock the wind out of you?
What was that?
Did it knock the wind out of you?
I think I was more just shocked as fuck.
Like, oh,
That's
You know what I mean? Because the energy also just changed. It wasn't like play wrestling anymore. It was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just remember thinking to myself, I
got
was
weird.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was looking up articles, and I saw this article too, right? And then for some reason, when I read that article title and stuff like that, and I looked into it, that was the first thing that came to my mind as well.
Huh.
My roommate headbutting me.
You probably never even think of that.
Yeah, I never would have thought about it.
How'd you guys talk it out after? Or you did?
No, it got really weird, and then he like left the room, and it was like fucking wild and awkward. And then for me, I was just kind of like, I think that was just weird. I'm just not even gonna worry about it, because you know if you worry about something that's like,
You guys didn't talk about it ever?
No, I settled it.
not really.
What? You just like, and then he came back later. He's like, I'm gonna go get McDonald's. You wanna come with?
You know when something's so out of whack that like the easiest way to like, you know what I mean? If you don't
acknowledge it.
yeah, it just like makes it more whack.
If I gotta live with this guy, I guess that does make.
It was just so random.
Guys can do that shit though.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
have an unspoken agreement that was weird. It's too awkward to talk about it. Let's just be.
We're both embarrassed by it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is why I'm like not at all fucking relating to a guy who's gonna headbutt his fucking father-in-law to death. But just genuinely, I'm like, oh, human beings do that from time to time.
But 3 times.
They like, there's something clicks, the vibe changes, and they fucking get aggressive.
Dude, headbutts are real,
He
man.
didn't even sock the dude. It was
It's
all
a good
head.
surprise attack.
Is it? That's what Bass Rutten said.
People don't they expect the hand.
Bass Rutten said to come with something like this, and then you can headbutt out of nothing. Is his quote.
Yeah, you're right here.
Bro,
right
you
now.
can really damage somebody.
Is that an illegal move?
So in like MMA fights, there are situations where like people's heads. Oh, that hurts, bro. Where
I felt his bone.
People's heads collide, like when they're both trying to throw and they hit each other, and double there's serious damage that is done. Like guys get cut open.
Because it's just bone.
You can't intentionally headbutt someone. in the
No,
head.
it's not legal at all, but it does do a lot of damage.
From both sides. See what happens. Ready? 1,
Oh, this guy's head's really hard.
1, 2, 3.
His head probably hurts way more, huh?
This guy can
Spit
hurt.
on his head and shit.
Oh, fuck.
Do you think you got a calloused skull?
Yeah, he has a head like a Muay Thai fighter.
You know what's funny is I have something weird in the back of my skull that because back when I would hit my head all the time, my dad would always bug me to go get a CAT scan, and I'm like, all right, fine, let's see if there's any hemorrhaging. Doubt it. So I went in there. I know, just caught the cockiest guy in the machine. So I get it scanned, and then the doctor's like, huh, that's weird. Your head's shaped like, so it's like a circle, but right in the back I have an extra lump like this.
Oh shit.
And he's like, normally, when people have that, you know, like the line into where their brain is, it'll go like that, like that's the whole like shape of the skull. But he said yours goes like this.
Whoa.
So he said that I just have an extra
bone layer,
like bone, yeah, like a little bone knee pad at the back of my head because I've hit it so many times on accident.
Holy shit.
Like whiplashing onto the ground and shit.
Yeah, just felt it.
Yeah, he's like, you're lucky you didn't get internal bleeding, but you did develop just more bone. Bonus bone.
So he's
Like your elbow.
so it's your superpower.
Exactly like my elbow, yeah, same shit.
Damn.
You got an extra bone.
Where else you got extra bone, huh?
I have calcium deposits that are like turtle shells.
Isn't that a good thing? If it's just enough to protect you more? Because your body's like, this guy gets a lot of damage.
Yeah, but it's kind of
Adaptation,
you know,
dude.
it's that you got to hit that sweet spot.
You're a fucking mutant, dog. Ryan is wild.
Right, Wyan.
Ryan is riled.
But yeah, that's why if you look back, like that's kind of why I like growing my hair out back here, because if I had a bald head, it would just look like I absorbed my twin in the womb.
You should draw a face on it.
It would look kind of weird, yeah.
I never broken a bone, like a hardcore break where I needed a cast, but I realized I think I broke a lot of things, like fractured a lot of things.
Like hairline fractures,
Or
ever?
like, yeah, cause like my toes, I couldn't close it for like 6 months, and it was like sharp pain, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I read up, and it was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like a broken toe, and I'm like, I didn't even know when I did that. Or like when I got kicked in the rib, I read it as like, oh, my spleen got sprained. I got kicked in the spleen. I got sprained.
Spleen got sprained.
Is that a thing?
But then
The spleen got sprained.
Is it a real thing?
spleen sprain. I got kicked.
Spleen got sprained, spleen got sprained.
Or like a.
That was close. It was good.
There's another word for
Like
it.
a bruise?
Like a rupture or some shit.
That sounds like something Mike Tyson would say.
Sounds bad.
Spleen.
Your spleen got ruptured.
It went from like casually like, oh,
But you had a
sprain to,
broken
like,
rib, huh?
I had a broken rib because they said that after 2 months, if it doesn't heal, it's probably like
Broken.
it's tore, the ligaments tore, whatever, the connections tore, or whatever. And then I'm like, all of it is though. At the end of the day, it says what they're gonna do is give you painkillers and that's it.
Well, broken rib, you can't do a whole.
I can't cast
Rest.
this stuff. You can't. So I was just like, what's the fucking point? So then,
What's the point of these?
I throughout life, I had a lot of injuries that I just thought were bruised or like just something fucked up, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll go away. But then now I'm like, oh shit, they were actually broken bones. But I didn't know the difference between fracture, splinter, whatever, all that. Yeah,
Strain, sprain.
I just never snapped
Splinters are
anything.
Because it wasn't like a traditional break.
Never snapped
Imagine like a
anything.
skater break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, ribs are you can go a long time without realizing you have a broken rib. You like
Really?
My dad fell off a ladder one time and he didn't realize it forever. This fool does X-ray for a living.
Oh, what?
He didn't even go.
But he's not in the X-ray.
He does x-rays for a living, but he was on a ladder? I'm confused.
He's
It
still a
was a
dad.
really big X-ray.
A dadder.
Yeah, but he just was like, oh, funny, and then he just like checked it out himself and was like, well, there's a line, right through the old, you know. So you can go a long time because even healing it, you just like there's no.
It's just time. Yeah.
So you
It's
know,
just like don't watch comedies for a while.
so if this guy killed the father-in-law, I bet you him and the chick are gonna divorce now.
He got his
he
wish.
got what he wanted, huh?
It's crazy that she wanted to stay with him. A fucking maniac like this. She's like, I'm not signing it.
Well, maybe not until like her demands were met or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
It's really like down to alimony agreements and shit, right?
Have you guys been through a divorce before?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Would you like to share something with the class?
No, it just reminded me because like my friend, she's been divorced. Totally fucking forget. Because like, you know when they're with a new person, like
Oh yeah.
you forget their past life, especially if you didn't know them in their previous marriage.
Right.
So I was just talking, I'm like, man, like I made a joke about divorce and stuff. She goes, oh yeah, like me? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, huh? So I'm like, how many more divorced people do I know? Dude, I totally forgot because that part caught me off guard.
Divorce is for whores.
Can you imagine?
Was it like one of
being so stupid to get divorced?
Could you imagine?
Was it like what Steve thinks an Anthony joke is, where he's like, people who get divorced sure got smelly pussies.
And Anthony
Steve, it's probably got divorced because he's a dancer.